Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
And first pitch for Tuesday, $2 Tuesday, WagerTalk.com. September 28th, I'm your host, Drew Martin, joined by Dave Cokin and Steve Merril. We're breaking down 4 games on tonight's slate. On the MLB slate, we got best bets at the end. First up here, Dave Cokin. Check him out at WagerTalk.com. Dave, welcome in. Happy Tuesday morning to you.
Thank you, Drew. I have a baseball play up tonight, and I have 4 college football plays up as of now. Everything's up at WagerTalk.com, my homepage, wt.buzz/DC. Got to promote you a little bit, though, Drew. You have a 5% play up tonight. That's our max rating at WagerTalk, and apparently you found something you like a whole lot tonight.
Absolutely, Dave. It's up there. It's ready to rock, and hopefully ready to cash tonight. I think it will. I bet it personally. So check it out, guys. Of course, $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. And Steve Merril, a part of Wager Talk, a big part of it, and a big part of the Tuesday show here on First Pitch. Steve, happy Tuesday morning to you, buddy.
Yeah, Drew Ruby said $9 Monday at the top there, but you had a one-upper. It's $2 Tuesday for Drew Martin, folks, at sportsmemo.com, sportsmemo.com. And, of course, Dave and myself at WagerTalk.com. I do have an MLB totals play up. Number 1 this season in MLB totals. Number 1 capper at WagerTalk.com in Major League Baseball totals, and I've got one up right now. But I want to point out a better deal. $2 Tuesday is pretty good, but this one might be better, Drew. The rest of September free. How's that? That's even better than $2 Tuesday. Get $2 free, Tuesday free for both Dave and myself. We both have this special right now at WagerTalk.com. You get October all access for over half price, and you're getting the rest of September for free as well. It's just a fantastic special. By the way, October has 5 weeks of college and pro football action. It's over half price right now, and you get the rest of September free. Both Steve Merril and Dave Cokin at WagerTalk.com.
It's got NHL as well. NHL getting underway. I believe I was number 1 last year at WagerTalk on NHL profits. Had a phenomenal regular season, but that all access deal, you get those plays too. Plus the golf, which has been amazing this year. So I think there's good reason to sign on to that deal.
Absolutely. October, great month to be a sports bettor. We got you covered at WagerTalk.com. Dave Cokin, Steve Merril, myself, Drew Martin. So, guys, check it out. $2 Tuesday. We got first game up here, guys, on the AL East game, a matchup here. We get the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays. Jays first game up here. Taillon versus Ryu. Of course, Ryu, the Korean pitcher, coming from the left side here. Dave, minus 125, the low water mark. We're seeing minus 130 being the priciest on the Jays. This is north of the border in Toronto. Important game in the AL East, Dave. This is coming down to, 2 slots for 3 teams. Somebody's going to be left out here in the AL East. You liking anything in Toronto tonight, Dave?
And don't dismiss Seattle yet. They're not losing any games. So Seattle's hoping these teams beat each other up over the next few days. The Red Sox have the Orioles, so that might be an advantage Red Sox. But they had a bad weekend against the Yankees. The Yankees in Toronto, we'll see what happens. Yankees have a very hot hitter right now in Stanton, and that's trouble. When he's on one of his rolls, I mean, he can go really bad at times where he just loses his discipline at the plate and starts swinging at anything. And but he's not. He's on the opposite role right now. And when Stanton gets hot, he can completely transform a lineup. And you saw him do it over the weekend at Fenway. I mean, he just destroyed the Red Sox single-handedly. Taillon coming back off the DL or IL, so I don't know how long he goes. But I don't mind pitchers the first time off the injured list. They're usually geared up and ready to go. Ryu has been very inconsistent. I don't have a lot of faith in him right now. I think I trust the Yankees a little more than the Blue Jays in this game. And I would say the value is with the Yankees coming out of a tremendous weekend at Fenway Park. Plus money, I'd have to lean to the Yankees in this game.
Okay, going with plus money on the Yanks here. Of course, on the road, but I tend to agree here with Dave. Interested in your part, Steve, in terms of an important game here in the AL East. We can't discount the M's like Dave was talking about, but it's going to be a tight race here down the stretch in the AL.
Yeah, I've discounted the M's all season long, and they're still there, but I might be proven right because they're 1.5 out of the playoffs, so they still probably won't make the playoffs, so I'll be proven right eventually, but we'll find out after this Sunday. But no, Dave's right. I mean, they keep winning. They've won 8 out of 10, the Mariners, that is. We keep waiting for them to regress, and they haven't regressed. I said all season long they were overperforming, but I wasn't trying to guess when that rising knife was going to stop, and they haven't stopped yet. But as far as this game goes, Toronto is a team also talking about run differential. We talked a lot about over the past few months. They were actually underachieving. Unlike the Mariners, who vastly overachieved, Toronto was a team that had one of the 2 or 3 best run differentials in the American League all season, yet they found themselves on the outside looking in. They've been eliminated, of course, from the division here. They're now 1 game back of the wild card. Yankees are 1 game up for that wild card. Boston has the 2nd spot as we speak. So it's obviously a critical game. A lot of times we do see lower scoring games with these playoff type atmospheres. And that might be one of the reasons we saw this total drop a little bit. The overnight look ahead was 9.5 in some spots. It's now on the key number of 9. 9 is a very key number at baseball totals. We'll see what happens. It's hard for me to ever play an under with the Toronto Blue Jay game. This offense is loaded, and we've seen what they've done night in and night out this season. It's been the best baseball offense over the past month or so, and we'll see if that continues here in these critical games. The Yankees, meanwhile, the last couple years, they've gotten it done more with pitching than offense. So Toronto holds a substantial offensive edge, especially at home, but they are in excellent current form. Like Dave said, they've won 6 straight, and offensively speaking, they've scored 6 or more in 4 of the last 5, 7 or more in 3 of those 5. So I would agree the dog probably has some value in this game.
Great job by the graphics team there. You can see it, guys. That AL wild card race coming down to the end with the Mariners 1.5 back, Toronto Blue Jays 1 game back, Boston holding on with the Yankees +1 there in the standings for that the 2 teams that are going to make it to that 1 game playoff. Always fun to watch that one. So guys, we got you covered here on First Pitch each and every day, Monday through Friday, 1:45 Eastern on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Making our way down and giving a shout out to the chat box. MC in the house, Jessica as well, Abby, all welcome in. They're saying Steve Streaky Merril. I don't know if you're okay with that.
That's Abby's nickname. Yeah, that's okay. Abby Jackson, loyal viewer of the show right there, Abby, and it's always Steve Streaky Merril, but it's always 2 L's. Abby, you know better. It's 2 R's, 1 L. Steve Merril.
2 R's, 1 L. Dave smoking Cokin as well from Jessica. Appreciate all you guys chiming in here. So welcome in. Let us know where you're watching from, what you're looking to bet tonight, what you want to hear about. We'll get it out here on the show. Next game up, we got Philadelphia and Atlanta staying in the East, in the NL East this time. Zach Wheeler and Charlie Morton here, Steve. We're getting the Braves -120 favorites at most shops, up to as high as -122. We're seeing in the ATL, 7.5 being the total. Philadelphia and Atlanta tonight, Steve. You interested in getting involved in Cobb County?
Yeah, I mean, Philly has to win these games. Obviously they're must-wins when you get this late in the season, but they're 6 back of the wild card with 6 to go. So they have to win the division. They're 2.5 behind Atlanta to win this division, so they could still get it done. This is a do-or-die series for both teams. I mean, Atlanta can clinch basically if they win this series, but Philly, they have to win this series. But I don't play on must-win situations. As you know, if Philly was good enough to win when they had to win, they wouldn't be an 81-75 team, and they wouldn't be in this position to start with. Atlanta on the season, we talk about run differential again. They're plus 121 net runs. The Phillies are -5. So Atlanta's been much better than just 2.5 games better. In fact, if you look at the expected win-loss record based on that, the Braves should be 12.5 games ahead of the Phillies instead of just 2.5 games. So Atlanta is the better team. Unfortunately, the scheduling spot does worry me a little bit. Both teams were off yesterday, as were most of the teams in Major League Baseball on Monday. But the Braves are coming back home after a West Coast trip, and that's always a little bit of a negative when teams return home after several weeks on the road. Also, big games at San Francisco. They got Arizona in between, and they closed winning 3 straight at San Diego. A nice sweep there on the West Coast. Normally you wouldn't think they'd overlook this series, but they could be a little bit flat here. Offense does look like it's starting to cool off. Despite that sweep, the Braves have scored 4 runs or less in 3 of those last 4 games, even though they won 2 of those 3 with just 4 runs. They've been getting it done with pitching. I think their offense could be a little stagnant back at home tonight. Atlanta, normally a good offensive team like Toronto, but in a playoff caliber series like this, I think the under 7.5 might have some value. Obviously, I talked about 9. 7 is the other key number in baseball totals. So 7.5 has a little bit of value to the under between Phillies and Braves.
Good stuff from Steve Merril. Dave, coming to you next. An important one here in the NL East. 2.5 games separating these two. It's not over yet. You liking anything tonight in the ATL?
Well, I think I'll side with Steve here. I would expect runs to be at perhaps a premium tonight. Wheeler, of course, on the mound for the Phillies is by far, well, I won't say by far their best pitcher because Ranger Suarez has been tremendous for them in the second half of the season, unexpectedly. And Ranger Suarez is probably the reason they're still in this race. Charlie Morton, look, he's established himself the last few years as a guy you want on the mound in big games. He usually comes through with his best performances in games that matter. And this, to me, is a put-away game for Atlanta. They win this game. Mathematically, it's not over, but it's over. Okay, there'll be 3.5 games up and only 5 to play. It would be really difficult for the Phillies to catch them. And the other thing on the Phillies is, I know they're 81-75. They've played pretty good ball lately. They need one more win to get over their win total for the season, which was 81. But I don't trust this team at all in big games. Girardi does not seem to make the right moves in the games that matter. They just don't win these games. Atlanta, to me, is the more trustworthy team. I think the Braves will win tonight. I also think the under is live. Didn't play either one because I didn't want to make 2 plays on the game, and I couldn't decide which I liked better, the side or the total. So I just left it alone. But if you're looking for a little correlated parlay action just for fun, I'd look at Braves and under.
Okay. Looking towards the Braves and the under in the key NL East battle between the Braves and the Phillies. Guys, this next game up, this has some talking points written all over it, Dave. Talking about the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee, the away team here, with Brandon Woodruff on the hill. Adam Wainwright going for the Cardinals. We know he's a lot better at home here, Dave. Total of 7, -115. One of the longest MLB win streaks. I'm actually trying to look it up in quite some time. I believe since 2017. I could be wrong on that, though, Dave. Long win streak in terms of 16 in a row, I believe, for the Cardinals. You think they make it 17 tonight?
I'm not going to bet against them. I mean, teams won 16 games in a row. Why would I go against them? And Adam Wainwright, now he did regress a little bit in his last start. He got knocked around in the first inning. Kind of settled down after that. And then the Cardinals came back and won the game anyway. They were down 4-0 in the game, and it's no big deal. So, and Wainwright, to me, is not a guy you want to go against right now. If you might have to face Scherzer next week in a playoff game, I might go against him there, but that's next week. As for this matchup, it's really difficult because you've got a very good pitcher on the mound in Woodruff. I think the Brewers, even though they've wrapped things up in the Central, they probably have a little incentive here after getting swept at home last week by the Cardinals. But I mean, there's just no way I could play against St. Louis here. I'm not going to play on it because I really don't like it when the better team is looking to avenge a sweep. That, to me, is a play-on situation. So I kind of like the Brewers there, but there's no way I'm fading the Cardinals. And if I had to play the game, quite frankly, I'd probably take St. Louis to make it 17 straight.
Sure. And Steve, coming to you next. I mean, to Dave's point, it's tough to step in front of a team that's won 16 straight. And if Wikipedia is right here, this is the 3rd longest winning streak of this century in MLB, only behind the Cleveland Indians in 2017. And, of course, that 20-win streak the Oakland A's had back in 2002, the Moneyball Oakland A's. Yep. So outside of those two, this is the longest. Can they make it 17 tonight, in your opinion, Steve?
Well, the betting markets don't think they can because they've gone from basically a pick 'em to a slight dog here, which is interesting. A little bit of money came in on Milwaukee. They're about $1.15, $1.20 favorite now. And the other that's incredible, like you said, Drew, they've won 16 straight games, and they're still 7 back of the Brewers in the division. They've already been eliminated from the division, even off the 16 straight wins, and they're only tied for the last wild card spot. So had they gone 15-1 over the last 16, they would not be in the playoffs right now. They're tied for the last wild card spot. So this is not a great team, but they're playing excellent baseball right now. And Wainwright at home has been money in the bank over his career. He's been a much better pitcher in St. Louis. He's been there for over 15 years straight now. You'll recall a few weeks ago, he became the first pitcher in the past 40-plus years at the age of 40 or older to go 6 innings, no runs allowed. So he's pitching really well right now. He's in his preferred setting back at Busch Stadium. They do return home off an extended road trip, like I mentioned, with the Braves. And it was a very critical road trip at Milwaukee, at Chicago. Obviously, 2 divisional opponents. More important, they got to win any game right now. But their offense is in excellent current form. 8 runs or more in 5 of their previous 6 games. So we'll see if this little one-day off trip back home cools them off any. But I'm not going to bet on it. Like Dave said, it's Cardinals or pass until this win streak is over.
Sure. And talking about a team that's won 16 straight games, I mean, their bullpen ratings have skied higher. And to Steve's point, this is the second hottest lineup in MLB according to weighted runs created plus the last week. So, yeah, go ahead.
Something else. There's nobody playing better defense. I mean, their defense has been epic. Arenado has been phenomenal. Their run prevention has been incredible. They're just not making any mistakes. I don't think, they're going to be the wild card team, barring something absolutely insane. I mean, they'd have to lose basically they'd have to lose the rest of their games not to make the wild card. They've got that wrapped up. But they want to keep on winning and stay hot. I think the spot, if you're looking to play against St. Louis, it's the night after they clinch the wild card, which should come in the next couple of nights. So, because the Padres are done and the Reds are basically done. So, as soon as that wild card is clinched, could come as soon as tonight. I think that's the spot to go against them the next day. That's going to be where they just kind of relax. Well, we finally did it, and that'll be that's the spot where I'm looking for the Cardinals winning streak to end.
Sure. And just looking like into the future here, Dave, and how you're looking to bet the Cardinals. I mean, if they do punch their ticket to the playoffs, would you look to kind of ride this hot team? And heck, who knows how far they can go?
It depends who they're playing and who they're matched up against. I can't, because we don't know yet. I mean, the Dodgers still could win that division. And Brandon Belt, by the way, going on the injured list for San Francisco, that's a big hit out of their lineup. So, I mean, the Dodgers haven't lost that division yet. And they're going to be trying to win it because nobody wants to face St. Louis in that one game right now. And nobody wants to be in that wild card game, period. I mean, the Cardinals will be happy to be in it, but neither the Dodgers and Giants are both trying to win these last several games and win that division. That's big, getting away from that. So if it's the Dodgers, I would think that Scherzer's probably the starting pitcher. I'm not going against him. I probably won't be laying a price against St. Louis because it'll be a big price. If it's the Giants, I don't know who they're going to go with. Gossman, Logan Webb, I'm not sure. So it's tough to size that up until we know what's happening. But I don't know. St. Louis, it's definitely a possibility that they could cool off between now and the end of the regular season once they've accomplished this goal of clinching the wild card spot, which again is probably going to come in the next couple of nights.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Dave, in terms of, a team that's already going to be in that one-game playoff. They can kind of set up their rotation to kind of be ready to rock that night, whereas a team kind of fighting to get there, they might be depleted with their arms going into that one game. So it could favor one team or the other in that type of situation.
It could. The other thing is the Cardinals have been playing playoff games for a whole month.
Yeah,
but at the same time, you can argue that the Dodgers and Giants have been doing the same because they're in a personal playoff race.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about it until next week, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can only handicap, what you got in front of you. Steve, any quick thoughts before we move on to the nightcap?
Yeah, well, just one thing. I mean, I don't put too much basis on the pedigree of the Cardinals over the last 10, 20 years, but this has been a championship caliber organization, and it is fitting that Wainwright is part of it still. As I mentioned, he's been there for 15 plus years, same team, over 40. And I'll never forget, I think it was whatever they won, 2011, 13, whatever the year was recently, they were 1,000 to 1 in September on the future odds. You could have gotten them at a bettable ticket at 1,000 to 1 in September when they went on to win the World Series a few years back, whatever that year was. I'd have to look it up. So they've been here and done this before. So really, you say, well, there's no similar players. Well, Wainwright is on the team still, so it's a little bit of a similarity. Yeah. And I think Dave brings up
so is Yadi Molina.
Momentum. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great point, Dave. I mean, it's like your battery right there, a key battery. So maybe there's a little something there. This organization knows how to win. And isn't it ironic, guys, that the Cubs and Cardinals are in the basic same spot back in July? We all agreed the Cubs needed to be sellers. I personally thought the Cardinals were going to be or needed to be. I was surprised that they weren't. They obviously knew something I didn't know because they're a playoff team now. And I think Dave's right, though. We got to be careful as if they cool off here in this final week. It's very hard to turn it back on. If they had this momentum going into the final day on Sunday, carry that into Tuesday, I could see them winning that wild card game. In fact, we see a lot of the teams do that. And we often see those wild card winners, as you guys know, do very well in the next round, because I do think there is something with that momentum off the playoff win. But yeah, the Cardinals might be in the worst possible situation here. Just good enough to get in here, and then they can cool off for 3 or 4 days, and they're going to have to flip a switch and probably play like the Dodgers. So that's going to be a tough one-game battle.
I would bet money that if you surveyed every member of the Cardinals right now and asked them who they'd rather face in a wild card game, it'd be almost unanimous that they'd rather face the Giants. But then again, the Giants have been disrespected all year, and they've got the best record in baseball.
Absolutely, Dave. Good points there from both Steve Merril and Dave Cokin. Guys, check them both out. WagerTalk.com. $2 Tuesday. Check it out. Got a 5% play up. You can get discounted for just $2 today. Also, let us know below in the comments how far you think this run for St. Louis will go. 17, 18. Does it end tonight? What is your opinion tonight in the comments? Interested to read that. And also, if you're looking to bet on them in the playoffs, if they're able to punch their tickets, kind of an interesting handicap overall looking at the Redbirds. So moving down here to the nightcap, Steve, we got the Oakland A's and the Seattle Mariners. We've been talking about the Mariners here. 10:10 Eastern, 7:10 Pacific start. Last game on the card. Chris Bassett and Anderson going for the Mariners, coming from the left side. He is minus $1.25. That's the A's as the road favorite. Actually, it's been bought down a little bit here, Steve. Looking at the Wager Talk odds screen, about a 15-cent move here, down to about minus 110 now. Oakland as the short road favorite. Total of 8 in the Pacific Northwest. You liking anything A's and M's tonight, Steve?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons Drew that line reset a little bit was Anderson, the starter. I think that was a switch, or it was unknown earlier. So that line kind of went up at 11 a.m. Eastern there, but a little bit different what the look ahead was going to be on this game. But once again, we're not going to bet against the Cardinals. I'm not going to bet against the Mariners. Once again, last night they get it done. They've been vastly overperforming, as we've established numerous times on the show, including earlier today. And they're an excellent current form offensively. This has been a very weak offensive team, especially at home this year. For the majority, first couple months of the season, they were batting below 200 at home this year. For the season now, they're up to 212 as a team at home. It's a pitcher-friendly park, and obviously we've talked about how they've won a lot of close one-run games, and that's exactly why they're 17 games above 500 despite being negative 52 net runs. Their record is now 14 games better win-loss each way than it should be. The A's, meanwhile, plus 65 net runs. They're exactly 85 and 72. That's exactly what their expected one-loss should be. The A's should be 12 games ahead of the Mariners based on the 117 more net runs they've scored versus allowed. However, that's not the case, and that's not the reality. We're looking at this one game tonight. We're handicapping this as a single game. And Seattle last night, 14 hits, 13 runs. The A's had only 7 hits, only 4 runs. Seattle's in better current form offensively. They've been the better team recently, even though their run differential doesn't show it. And I think there's some value with them as a home dog here. Once again, not going to fade St. Louis, not going to fade Seattle until we see otherwise.
Okay, good stuff, Steve. And Dave, coming to you for the nightcap here, man. You interested in getting involved tonight?
No, probably not. But the only side I'd look at is the Mariners. I'm not crazy about Anderson. I do root for him because he's a Las Vegan. But I give the edge to Bassett. And Bassett looked really good. It was only 3 innings, but he looked really good coming off that terrible injury where he got hit in the face by the line drive. So I would expect he can be stretched out a little more tonight. So I give a pitching edge to Oakland, but that's only the starting pitching. The bullpens favor Seattle. And let's face it, if it's a close game late, the Mariners are going to feel good about their chances of winning it. The A's maybe not so good, as their bullpen hasn't exactly been dynamite down the stretch. The other thing on Seattle is they've got 2 lineups, the top of the order and the bottom of the order. The bottom of the order stinks. Okay, anything to get out of those guys is a bonus. But the top of the order is raking right now. The shortstop was Edwards. I forgot his name. I'm blanking on his name. He's been good. Ty France gets no attention, but he's hitting close to 300 with Sock. Haniger, he bombed another one out last night. They're getting a lot of production out of the top of that order. And that's a little bit of a gauntlet to go through right now. So I can't believe I'm blanking on the Seattle shortstop's name. No, the shortstop. He's a left-handed hitter. Good defensive player. I don't know why I can't remember his name.
Crawford?
I'm confusing. Crawford. No, I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. I hate it when I forget names, but I've done so here. In any case, he's their leadoff hitter, and he's been very good. It just is overlooked in the glut of outstanding shortstops that are in baseball. But this guy's had a good year, and France has been tremendous. Haniger has been solid. I mean, the top of their order is pretty good. And Bassett is going to have to get through those guys. I lean Seattle in the game. Has anybody chimed in with the guy's name? Because it's driving me crazy.
J.P. Crawford. Yeah,
J.P. Crawford. Jesus. Yeah. This is not a sign of senility, by the way. I've had this my whole life, where I'll blank out. I can describe somebody perfect. I can describe somebody perfectly, and for some reason I forget their name. And it's never a tough name. I mean, there's nothing tough about J.P. Crawford. It's easy to remember. For some reason, I was confusing it with C.J. Edwards.
Right.
The pitcher, who, by the way, has not done as well in his major league career as Crawford has.
I mean, to that point, though, Dave, and yeah, we have had Johnny Outlaw in the bunch, Mike Campbell helping us out there. J.P. Crawford was the name. I feel like names are overrated. You know, I heard somebody in this business once tell me, you got to be able to tell the coach and one player on every college basketball team if you want to do content and sports betting. And I'm like, why? That doesn't help at all. I think names are actually overrated, Dave. To your point, I would rather explain the athlete, just, you know, his dimensions and what he's good at doing rather than his name. I think that will help you win more bets than just knowing names. I don't know. That's just maybe me getting that off my chest.
I'd rather know all of it.
Yeah.
The names, the stats, and everything else.
No, that's a good point.
I imagine everybody else who's watching right now goes through the same thing. It just drives you crazy yourself when you know a guy's name and you just can't think of it. It's worse when you run into somebody that you actually do know and you've forgotten their name. It's like, hey, partner. Gotta go, hey, buddy. Hey, partner. What's going on?
Hey, man.
That sucks. Hey, man, how you doing?
Happens all of it.
It's always obvious, too.
Oh, I know it. Yep.
And the panic trick I've learned, though.
The panic would set in when I was with my girl, and we'd run into somebody, and it's like she doesn't know who they are, and I have to introduce, and I can't remember who the people are, and it's like, oh shit! And I can see it coming. You're edging up on the people, and it's like, fuck! I can't remember these people's names. I'm coming in trouble now.
We've all been there, Dave. One trick I've learned, though, is like if you're there with your girlnot or whatever, you introduce her first.
You introduce her first. Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. That is the greatest trick. Yeah. I'll tell you another great one. I'm not a big Oprah Winfrey follower, but one of the best tips I've ever heard was from her about 20 years ago. Whenever you see someone, you never say nice to meet you. You always say good to see you. And she said she does that because she's met so many people. Yeah, it's a really good one, Dave. I've done that for 20 years now, ever since I heard Oprah say that. Obviously, you and I, not quite as famous. We're getting there.
No.
But yeah, Oprah, you figure, she's seen so many people. She doesn't remember if she's met them or not. So it's always good to see you. I think that's a great life tip right there for all the viewers.
I like it. I'm stealing that.
Yeah, I've stolen it too. Guys. That's awesome. Chat box loving it as well. Daniel, appreciate you guys chiming in. Dell as well. Daryl, MC in the house. Different life hacks here on First Pitch before we get the best bets from Steve Merril, Dave Cokin, WagerTalk.com, $2 Tuesday. So let's start off, guys. Best bet time. Dave Cokin, smoking Dave Cokin himself, knows baseball, football, college, NFL, the whole bit. Hockey right around the corner, guys. Great guy to check out for the October special at WagerTalk.com. Dave, where are we going for best bets, and any final thoughts for the show?
Yeah, I have one baseball play up tonight. This isn't it. Okay, if you want the game, you can get it at Wager Talk. It's a total first 5 over that I like. I think both pitchers, 2 pitchers with control issues. I think you're going to get some runs. Game I kind of like, so I'll use it as the best bet here, is Arizona San Francisco under. The Diamondbacks don't hit much on the road. I know Logan Webb has regressed a little bit lately, but I think he'll have some success against the Diamondbacks. Weaver hasn't really been awful down the stretch. And Weaver's a funny guy. He's got a lot of talent and should be better than he is. Maybe he'll put it together at some point. But, and again, the Giants missing an important cog out of their offense. Brandon Belt is having a great season. And I know it's been next guy up for San Francisco, but missing Belt, it could be a big absence. And I think he's probably going to be out for the early part of the playoffs. He could be out for a few weeks. So I'm going to look at the under in that game. It has moved. It opened 8. We're seeing some 7.5 now. You can still get 8s. And I'd look full game under between the Diamondbacks and Giants.
All right, guys. And for best bets, I'll follow Dave here. I'm going with the Atlanta Braves, winning 3 straight, going to make it 4 tonight. Hopefully here against the Phillies in a key NL East battle as they extend their lead, hopefully tonight against the Phils, who are in second place, guys. And really, 2 good pitchers on the hill. Don't want to take anything away from Zach Wheeler here going for the Phillies, but Charlie Morton, he's been great. Under a 1 whip his last 5 starts. Also hasn't let up more than 4 earned runs since all the way back in April, so consistency is what I'm looking for. A little bit of a bullpen edge as well. I think we get the better lineup at home. So got the Braves short favorites here, minus 120 for my best bet. Also the $2 handicapper, guys, so check it out at WagerTalk.com for my best bet. And Steve, finish us off here, buddy. Where are you going for best bets and any final thoughts for the show?
Yeah, going to look at a free baseball play here for Tuesday night, September the 28th, a game that was just a bit outside from making the cut. A reminder, I do have a strong MLB totals play, number 1 ranked at WagerTalk.com this year in MLB totals, and you get that tonight for $25 or get it for free, Free, free when you sign up for October. Half price October gets every sport every day, and you get the rest of September free right now. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Going to look at my top side selection tonight, a game that just missed the cut, just a bit outside. And that's the Kansas City Royals minus $1.20. That game goes at 8 o'clock Eastern Tuesday night. Open pick'em. It's now up to minus 120. A little bit of sharp money this morning on the Royals, and I actually agree with that move. Singer over Savali. These are 2 teams well out of the playoff race, just playing out the stretch this final week. But I think it's a spot where Kansas City bounces back after the 8-3 loss yesterday against Cleveland. Royals have not lost 2 straight over their past 9 games. They've zigzagged. Cleveland has not won 2 straight over their past 10 games. They've been zigzagging 5-5 over that span. Royals also 5-5 their last 10. So I think the Royals bounce back here. And I like Singer on the mound tonight. You know, you always got to be careful, guys, wearing down during the stretch of the season. He does not appear to be wearing down. He has 14 strikeouts, only 3 walks in his last 2 starts. 14 strikeouts, in fact, 20 strikeouts over his last 3 starts on just about 18 innings. So he's still throwing some fire. Savali's been up and down. This is a guy that was just awful last week against the White Sox. Gave up 7 earned runs, lasted less than 2 innings. 2 starts before that, he gave up 7 runs in 3 innings. Now, he did have a 6-inning shutout in between that, but overall, his arm is weakening. He went less than 5 innings the 2 starts before that. This guy has lasted 4.5 innings or less in 4 of his last 5 starts. So I think we get the fresher, stronger pitcher on the mound in Singer. We get a bounce-back spot with the Royals at home at a short price. Kansas City Royals minus $1.20. Goes at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight on Tuesday.
Royals, the short favorite from Steve Merril and his best bet. Guys, in recap, we got the Braves minus 120, Royals minus 120 for Steve and Dave on the Diamondbacks, and Giants under 8 out there in the NL West. Final shout out here to the chat box. We got Tyler Glasnow fan club. Welcome in, buddy. Johnny Outlaw, like always. Paco Healy and the crew. Shout out to all you joining us live. Please smash that like button. And guys, remember, feel free to comment below when you think this Cardinals winning streak will end. Is it tonight? Is it, heck, who knows, all the way to the World Series? No wrong answers. Interested in everybody's opinion, though. For Steve Merril, Dave Cokin, I am Drew Martin. Make sure to check out WagerTalk.com. $2 Tuesday. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Best of luck with your bets. Until then, thanks for tuning in.
Why is our
Good to see you.
269 October All Access special one of our best deals ever? Let us count the ways. 5 college football Saturdays, 5 NFL Sundays, full month of MLB playoffs. NHL starts October 12th. NBA season starts October 19th. Plus, any other sport your favorite handicap releases, all for under $9 a day. As an added bonus, sign up early and get the rest of September included for free.